In the last year or two, there have been a ton of videos posted online about stem cell therapy, and lots of people out there are showing footage from the various treatments that they've had, and they're talking about their experiences after treatment. And that's great, but one of the things that's never sat well with me is that rarely, if ever, in these videos do you get to see follow-up imaging studies that show you what physical changes have taken place in the tissues that they were targeting with those stem cells. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about my stem cell therapy, which took place about 6 months ago, and I'm going to show you before and after MRIs so that you can see for yourself what's possible with a treatment of this type. What changes had taken place, what healing had occurred inside of my spine. And the only way to know that was to climb back into that same cold MRI machine so that I could see for myself and show you what's possible with stem cell therapy. So what you're looking at here is my original MRI that was taken on May 29th of 2023. And when you look at the upper lumbar spine, you see these brightly colored, almost whitish ovals. Those are healthy spinal discs. And you can tell they're healthy because they're brightly colored and because you have this sharply delineated line at the back of these vertebrae and discs that butts up against this white space here that's called the thecal sac. But when you get down to L3, L4, you can see that the appearance of this disc changes a lot. It's darker in color. We've lost some disc height, and you have this black blob at the back end of that disc that's pushing into that white space and compressing the amount of space that you have there. You see it again at L4, L5 with an even bigger disc bulge, and again at L5, S1, where you have this almost strangulation of that white space here. Now, the spinal cord itself finishes way up here, but you do have dangling spinal nerves that pass through this area, and when you decrease the amount of space that those nerves have to travel through, it can create some problems. Now, I have measurements of these disc bulges, and I'm going to show you those in a second, but what I want to measure for you here is the amount of space in the thecal sac that's been reduced as a result of those disc bulges. So here at L3, L4, we have 5 millimeters of space. At L4, L5, we have 5 millimeters of space, and at L5, S1, we have 8 millimeters of space in the thecal sac. The footage here comes from my pre-treatment consultation at Dream Body, where the doctor measured the disc bulges on my original MRI and found that the L3, L4 disc had a 6 millimeter bulge, and the disc at L4, L5 had a 5 millimeter bulge. Now let me show you the post-treatment MRI that was taken on December 14th. And right off the bat, you can see that the disc bulges, those blobs at the back end, are smoother. This disc appears to be a little bit more brightly colored, which I take as a very positive sign about the health and the contents of the nucleus pulposus, the center part of that disc. It's softer on the back end, and I'm going to measure these disc bulges for you so that you can compare those, but let's just check the thecal sac measurements first. At L3, L4, we now have 8 millimeters of space. At L4, L5, we now have 9 millimeters of space, and at L5, S1, we now have 13 millimeters of space in that thecal sac post-treatment. And as far as the disc bulges themselves go, the L3, L4 disc now measures 2 millimeters. The L4, L5 disc now measures 3 millimeters. And the L5, S1 disc now measures 3 millimeters. So significant reductions in the disc bulges as well, which corresponds with the increase in size in that thecal sac. And there was one other surprising and completely unexpected benefit from my stem cell therapy, and that was a significant increase in disc height down in my L5-S1 disc. And this was pointed out to me by the doctor at Dream Body during my post-treatment consultation.
Here we have a side view from the lower back. We can see like the space between bone and bone, between L5 and S1. The posterior area has 4 millimeters. And the anterior has 10 millimeters. Then we have the neo MRI, and we have now 8 millimeters and 14 into the anterior.
So overall, I'm super happy with the results that I got from stem cell therapy, and if I had to go back and do it all over again, knowing exactly what I know now, I would absolutely spend that money to get these kinds of results. Now, it's important to note here that in the months that followed my treatment, I committed myself to a home-based rehab program, and I was consistent for months with that. And the reason that I did that is simple. It's because of the way that I view stem cell therapy. See, stem cell therapy creates this amazing window of opportunity that lasts somewhere between 6 months and a year, where really intense and significant healing inside of your body is possible. And my thought process was, I want to layer in as many simple strategies as I possibly can during that period of time to help my body maximize the amount of healing that takes place. And I documented that entire rehab program on video, and you can see it by clicking the link in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. That, without a doubt, contributed significantly to the results that I've gotten. To what extent, I can't say. Some people commented that they were upset that I wouldn't know how much of the results that I got came from stem cell therapy and how much came from the rehab program, and that's absolutely true, but I wasn't